And welcome to the Manly Pacific Park Royal and a carnival on the Corso as we drum up what is sure to be yet another great series in 1997 for the St George Bank Triathlon GP. We can promise you intense competition and a couple of competitions of your own, including a chance to beat the legendary Greg Welch at his own game. We'll talk about that throughout the series, of course. But Mark Fuel, welcome to you. Brad Bevan, three-time winner in the 3 years of this series and under intense pressure.
He certainly is. This is the fourth year in, and every year the competition just keeps getting tougher. Some of the other competitors think that Brad, there's a chink appearing in his armour. I think he's going to surprise them as well as all the people watching here today. But don't forget the giant from England, Spencer Smith. He's had another season overseas in the International Grand Prix, so his experience with this. And Miles Stewart in the best form of his career since he won the world title back in '91. And Greg Welch is better prepared this year than any other year. Plus, we've got plenty of internationals. We've got 30 athletes racing here today. It's going to be fantastic.
Many chances indeed, not only today but throughout the series as the various formats unfold. Some athletes better suited to others, and it goes on. Last year, though, if it's anything like that,
It's going to be very, very interesting, and the surf out there is going to make a huge difference. It's picked up overnight, about 3 feet, 5 feet on the sets. Very, very nice conditions. South to southeast wind, although on the edge, though, there's a drag going the other way. Low tides a little bit later in the day. There'll be plenty of waiting for the guys, and it's going to be very exciting. The guy that can hang on to the waves will be the ones that will end up winning the races at the end of the day. So the weather now, nice clear conditions for the guys, nice sunny conditions. The air temperature is 21 degrees, which we've already reached. Water's a nice, pleasant 19 degrees. Winds, as I said before, south to southeast, 10 to 15 knots, and I think increasing during the afternoon, and the humidity is 55%. Well, with me down here on the beach, we've got Di Holden, ex-100 metre sprint champion. Tell us about the bike and the run course today.
Okay, Guy, today the bike and the run will be really interesting, but key to the race is the good positioning and quick transitions. The bike leg, there is tight turns, they need to be careful of that, and on the run, speed endurance will be the key for them to cope with the 3 races.
Fantastic. Looks like a great race for today's event. Well, back to you, Billy.
well, triple super sprint today, varied formats in each of them, and with that big surf, there are a lot of possibilities. In fact, Mark Fuel, I guess you could say, throw away the form guide.
I think so. The surf will be the critical factor, but I think we'll have 3 winners in the 3 races today. I'm tipping Miles Stewart, Spencer Smith and Brad Bevan to take a race each, but I think dark horse possibilities, particularly race 2 ending with a swim, Chippy Slater, Greg Bennett or Locke Volmerhouse will be there and could possibly sneak a win.
Well, with 3 races today, there's every chance someone will beat Greg Welch. But can you beat Greg Welch? Let's have a look at your chance to do so in one of our great competitions this year.
Brad Bevan, Mike Pigg, Spencer Smith, Mark Allen. Yes, even the mighty Mark Allen has been one of Greg Welch's victims. Think you can do better? St George and Triple M have 50,000 reasons for you to try. Greg will race you in a special event at the end of the last round at Surfers Paradise. Listen to Triple M for details. For 50 grand, you can do it.
Yeah, right.
All right, we'll see about that. It'll happen at the end of this series, but during it you have the chance to enter, so get in there and start training. Let's have a look at the course today, and it in itself is quite simple, as you can see on the map. The swim is straight out and straight back, but of course there are a lot of waves in that blue area that you can't see on our map. 300 metres for the swim. Then they run up the sand into the transition area and the bike for 7 Ks, straight up and down, but it is tight and technical and a lot of turns in that 7K loop. They will be critical. The run is 2K, and that is fairly straightforward, but at the end of the day, it may well be a major factor in the outcome of this race. We're in for a terrific day. Hope you can stay with us for the 3 sprints. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Welcome back to round 1 of the St George Bank Triathlon GP. It's all going to happen again for another summer very, very soon. Let's have a look at the start list. And there he is, the man under pressure, Brad Bevan. Greg Welch looking better than ever. Miles Stewart likewise has trimmed down. Locke Volmerhouse is certainly a danger. Haven't seen much of him in the major overseas events, but he's in good shape. Andrew Johns, Chippy Slater could do anything in this type of event. Very experienced in the surf. The big man, Spencer Smith. Manly loves him and he loves coming back. Eamon Nunn also looking to revive his career. So too Jason Meadows, who competed in the International Series recently, and so did Chris Chris Hill, the former world junior champion, with some distinction. Jerome Sanson of France, a new man in. Glenn Mangum from the United States, based in Japan most of the year. Also Marcus Ornelas from Brazil. Jamie Hunt, a young talent from New Zealand, very strong runner. Likewise Trent Chapman, a young talent from Australia. Ralph Zietsen from the Netherlands will also be one to watch. The number 30 from Urmond in the Netherlands. On the start line right now, and you can see the familiar earring of Miles Stewart there just off the screen as they jostle for positions, and the number 1 on the arm of Brad Bevan. Can he do it again? Consistency got him there last time. Will it do so again? There they go, off for round 1 of the 97 series, and a big surf awaits them despite the low tide here at Manly. Guy Leach. Here they are making their way out, a big side wash which will sweep them from left to right on your screen. And certainly the waves are not as big as they have been, up to 5-6 feet the sets earlier in the day. This is a lot more negotiable, but they did in fact move the swim course slightly to help the athletes because of this great side wash here, mainly in play early in the swim. We'll have a quick look at the format now for this first race. It's the conventional swim, bike and run. 300 metres, but it's a tough 300 in those waves. Then the 7K on the bike, 2K run to finish. Mark Fuel, any tips for this race?
Well, this particular race, the athletes are getting a good run out. This is one of the biggest lulls in the surf we have seen here all day. And our leaders, I would expect early on to be number 18. First time we've seen him here in Australia. Jerome Sanson from France. He's in fact the older brother of Ben Sanson, who will be making an appearance from race 2. He's also an excellent swimmer. Here's the first wave we've seen coming in. That's around about 4-foot swell. And some of the athletes like Daniel Simon from Germany and Ralph Zietsen from Holland, they will not be used to this. The biggest waves they've ever seen would probably be in their bathtub. So this will be a new experience for them.
Well, all they have to do is dive deep and hang on to that sand until the wave passes over them. If they don't do that, they can be where that athlete is there, caught and swamped again. Guy Leach, any signs of who's leading at this stage?
Jerome Sanson is swimming quite well. I don't know his stroke too well, but he looks a lot similar to Benjamin Sanson, who's such a strong swimmer. Brad Bevan is up there as well. He's having a good swim. And also we've got Simon Knowles. Now, it's imperative for these guys to really get out the best way they can, get around that buoy turn. And as I speak, Chippy Slater is in first place. And swimming very, very strong. The guys from the Gold Coast now, Chippy, and he's been doing a lot of surf work, knowing that there are some races in the surf, and we have surf here today, 4 to 5 feet. Now, the trick's going to be if you can catch a wave and you can hold that back to the beach, it's going to make a huge difference to the end of the day. Now, they would want to be going hard, but they need to be conserving a little bit as they come around the cans here to make sure they don't give up too much. Now, I can see Darren Carnell in second place.
Looks like Jerome Sanson is also prominent there as well. We've obviously just lost communications there with Guy out in the surf, and you may have seen earlier that the rubber ducky made a very late run over the top of one of those waves, and that was a close run thing. Right now, it's probably about the safest place you can be on the swim leg, Mark Fuel, and that's swimming across the swell to the opposite buoy. And then, of course, there's the thought now, and there'll be a lot of heads looking up and around to try and pick up some assistance.
Well, a few of these athletes now will be hoping that once they've turned that can, that a swell comes in, that they can pick up a wave and ride it to the beach, because that will give them a huge advantage. And Guy Leach mentioned before, number 15, Darren Carnell, is right up there in the lead. He, in fact, has been training down here. He lives in Manly now, and he's been training with Craig Riddington, a former top Ironman here in Australia. Right. So he is very, very used to the swell, and he was actually hoping that there would be a big swell here today. And if we look out the back there, there is a swell that's building up. Let's hope that a few of these competitors will be able to crack one.
Well, whether they come in or not will depend largely on the surf skills of some of these guys like Ralph Zietsen and Daniel Simon from Berlin, who may see the wave coming but may not know exactly how to make the most of it.
Well, I think Chippy Slater is also very well positioned, and here comes a wave. Let's see who can crack it. There's a few people swimming. Some may be too far in. There are about 6 guys on this wave. Those who were in front were absolutely swamped. look for Chippy Slater. He's probably the best surf swimmer in here, but somebody, one competitor, and we can't see who it is, has been able to ride it virtually all the way into the beach.